You're listening to Fighting Back, news talk, current events, and political commentary. Now here's the host of Fighting Back, Uncle Ronnie.
Well, welcome back. We have another exciting portion of the show tonight. It's been really a great time, Ray.
Yes.
And tonight we have the lovely Shelby Busch and her fiance. I think that's how you say male fiance, isn't it? And that would be Steve Robinson. Welcome to the show. They are with the I want to use the Arizona up first. We the People Arizona Alliance. And hey guys, tell us a lot about that. A lot of people have heard of it, they don't know what it is.
So we are a grassroots, people-driven political action committee. And the whole reason and purpose for what we did and where we launched out was to recall the Board of Supervisors.
It's a good move.
Yeah. I mean, we'd been out doing the investigations. We saw the evidence. The courts weren't having it. The Board of Supervisors felt like they had a perfect election. They lied to our face. We were there in 2018. We all saw what went down in 2018.
That was
right?
just a trial run, I think.
Oh, yeah. And they threw everything at it but the kitchen sink just to make sure it happened. So we went to the Board of Supervisors in 18, and they assured us that they were appalled. They stood right with us, and they said, oh, this is horrible. I can't believe this happened. So we're going to do better in 2020. Their idea of doing better, hire a bureaucrat. That was their idea.
That's what they did.
Right.
That's what they did. Steve, how did you get involved with this? Same. I know you guys are kind of.
They were carpooling.
Yeah,
carpool.
we're inseparable. So
Insufferable?
inseparable.
Oh, okay.
Now, Shelby, I think you're being very, very modest because you have put together an amazing group of people, all volunteers. You've put on some pretty incredible events, and you've got national coverage with a lot of the people that you work with. So tell us a little bit about from that founding to what's happening today.
Okay, so foundational, we were frustrated, we were angry, we were trying to figure out what our next move was. We prayed about it, and there were 5 or 6 misfits sitting on our front porch just hanging out. We said, what are we going to do? Recall the Board of Supervisors. Within 72 hours, we filed the petitions, we set up the PAC, and we scheduled an event that was broadcast by Right Side Media, and within a week, we had several thousand volunteers step up to the plate to really come behind what we were doing. We had no idea where it was going to go, but incredible people. People, they're hungry. They're hungry. They feel abandoned by our party, but they're like me. They're true blue Republicans. They believe in the principles. They believe in what the Republican Party stands for, and this is our home. And if somebody comes into your home that doesn't belong there, you stand and fight.
That's right.
And so we're fighting for our party, but they needed a place to do that. And I feel like we've provided that to them and given them a place where they can fight for what they believe is theirs. And it's really has caught on like fire. But I can't say that it's Steve or myself that's doing it. I give most of the credit is all to God, because I really believe God wanted this. He wanted his people to come together and to feel
amen.
empowered. And so it's been a whirlwind. 5 a.m. text message from Steve Bannon, right? That was cool.
Yeah.
And then Lynn Wood.
Oh, you
coming
even
out.
appeared on his show.
Yeah.
All right.
War
So
room.
tell us some of the other key people here that we would know their names in Arizona. We got Josh Barnett right over here, ran for Congress. We
Hi,
have
Josh.
Eric Winook, who also ran for Congress many years ago, but he's kind of a pillar here.
And he's here frequently.
He is
He's,
here frequently.
One of the guest hosts.
No, I think you said ghost host.
Ghost host.
Which I think is
Yeah.
right. So a lot of events that you have, and you know what? The people in your organization have these massive hearts. They just really, truly love what they're doing, and it's God-centered because they realize that our country was founded on godly principles, and that we need to go back to that to make sure that we grab the liberty and freedom that we
Our
do.
our volunteer base needs a lot of credit. They are hardworking. This is a major labor of love. Everyone, their hearts are fully into it, and they're invested into this, and we're all volunteers in this movement, and so we're pressing forward. But our volunteers are some of the greatest.
Now,
Thank
Steve,
you.
from having people in your front yard, just kind of hanging out, probably having a couple beers and just shooting the breeze, to the event that you had that was covered by Right Side Broadcasting, to the event that was just, a couple weeks ago, where that small movement of recalling a few of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors has grown. Can you tell us about that event that happened just a couple weeks ago?
Okay, so the additional recalls were basically We the People AZ Alliance was formed to be something that belongs to the people, and that's what we intended. So our organization is a tool that's available to the voter base, and if enough people in an area or a district decide that they have a politician that is corrupt, and they give us the evidence of that, and we decide that we agree with them, then we will help them. We will file on their behalf, and then they put the teams together. We help them provide everything that they need so that they can make it happen.
Now, we actually have the petitions here, right here at Hub Radio.
Yes. 3238 East Bell Road.
East Bell. So if you want to
And we have them all for all 5 districts.
So it originally started out with the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Shelby, how many of the Board of Supervisors, how many of the 5 were on the original recall?
4.
4 of them. And Steve Chukri, who sat right over here during this show, he was exempt because he did vote to make things move forward. But you later found out that maybe something was different than was being portrayed.
Well, sometimes people do things because they just want to cover their behind. Right now, the Board of Supervisors, they're not real popular guys. So it really worked to Chukri's advantage to be on our side in this situation. But what is being on our side? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Well, working for we the people.
Exactly. His statement this morning doesn't show that he's working for the people. He feels like that circus that they called an audit was an audit, and everything is fine. So you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth and expect people to trust you. The time for that is over. We see right through it.
We had asked him to come back on the show and actually discuss this matter and why the 4 of them felt one way and he felt another. And we had asked him particularly to let it all out, tell the public why the board is doing this, and he would have to break with the board, obviously, and they would not be happy with him. And this is not about happiness of a public servant. This is the happiness of the citizens, we the people, as you say. And the other thing, and I know you're involved, I've been involved, I've been a member of the board of the Arizona State Republican Party. I know you're an officer in the party as well. But it troubles me a great deal when I see a political party that just does not seem to have the fortitude to go after these things. And we have to set up organizations outside of the political arena. People are looking for somebody that's tough, and that's why we love Donald Trump, as he's tough and he doesn't let us down. He says what we think, and he goes for it. And you guys are following right in those steps. I love your organization.
So a couple weeks ago, tell us what happened. We're at this big event. You had it in Glendale, and you had some speakers there that had some pretty big news. Can you go over that with us?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I was going to try to get there, but I got into explaining
we get diverted a lot.
He gave you a great opening.
Yeah, so we had 2 Farnsworths with us, Verl
not
and
counting
David.
the one we just had
Not counting
here.
the one that we just had here.
Yeah.
So 2 other Farnsworths, and we had a few other people, Walt Blackman, but Verl Farnsworth was the one who wanted to make the announcement that we're also recalling Doug Ducey.
So the governor,
that's the big one.
Yeah,
the governor, and honestly, we weren't sure if we should do that, but we've gotten so much requests for it every single volunteer on a daily basis is hearing, "Where's a Doug Ducey petition? I want a sign to get Doug Ducey out." So eventually, it became, it's obvious enough people want to get rid of Doug Ducey. Let's just go ahead and file on him too.
And it didn't stop there.
No, it didn't. Go ahead, Shelby. Who else did we file on there?
Katie Hobbs.
Yes.
Secretary of State.
Oh, the one that thinks everybody that's a Trump supporter is a Nazi? That Katie Hobbs?
Yes.
You're not a Nazi?
I'm not a Nazi, never have been.
All right, and,
News break.
and another one as well,
Kathy Hoffman,
who is Superintendent of Public Instruction.
correct. And Steve Chukri. So we added him to the mix.
So all 5 now of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. And then there was another one that kind of squeaked in at the end. It's like they were running a race and he just came from behind and he just ran right over and he wanted that ribbon. Can you tell us who that was and why?
Paul Boyer.
Paul Boyer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see if anyone
Voted
can guess
with-
why.
And why, Shelby,
I can
tell
tell
us
you
why
but we won't
Senator
we'll go there.
Paul Boyer would be on your list.
Because he won the Biggest Loser race. He betrayed the electorate. He betrayed the Senate.
But tell everyone who's viewing right now, how did he do this? How?
Sure. So the vote came down on Senate Resolution 1005, and it was to hold the Board of Supervisors in contempt for not complying with the subpoenas. And on the moment, on the floor, tension building, and it's his turn to vote as a co-sponsor of this bill.
And that's
this
the key.
resolution.
He did indicate to the President Fan, I will support this.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the co-sponsor, you would think
Yes.
that you'd support the bill.
Yes.
And what happened?
He voted against it.
And what was his reason? It had to be a big reason.
Well, yeah, he said he believes we need to exercise more patience.
More patience.
More patience,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow. And
After
I think
3
he also
months
said,
of putting up with nonsense.
I heard that he also said, I don't really want to put my friends in jail.
Right.
Did he say that?
Yeah, and I think he said something about spirit of cooperation, too.
All right. So now that the judge has ruled that they have every right to do exactly what they were doing, do you think that he's going to think twice about this?
No. He just voted against cleaning up our voter rolls.
Yeah, I was going to say he did it again.
Yeah, he's officially a Democrat, and honestly, if he went ahead and left our party and joined the Democratic Party, they'd vote for him.
Well, the people in his
Yeah.
district, you're probably aware, don't like him. They didn't like him before this.
They
Right.
This vote.
unanimously censured him.
Yes.
His
Yeah,
party.
yeah, no, his LD,
But they weren't
his
fond of him
legislative
before
district.
that either.
Yeah. So how do I know we have so many people out there and they feel the same way that you are. We're kind of fed up with people being elected, promising the moon and delivering the Swiss cheese and not really doing anything or standing on their foundations. How do people out there who are watching, how do they get involved with your organizations? You have a website.
We have a website, wethepeopleazalliance.com.
Okay. And I know that it costs a lot to do what you're doing, to get out there, to file petitions, to work with the volunteers. What's the best way? If somebody's just sitting there saying, you know what, I'm fed up too, but my life is so busy, I don't have the time, but I want to participate. How can they reach into their pockets, financially support you? Do you have a GoFundMe page? Do you have a place that you can donate on your website? What's the best way? How can they get involved? Can they sign up for an email list? What can they do?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Good.
There is a PayPal link on our website. We went through 3 other ones, but they denied us. For some reason, a lot of people don't want to see election integrity. I don't know why. The establishment doesn't seem to like the idea of holding elected officials accountable.
Well, the deep
So-
state, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yes, there is a PayPal link on our website. We do have a email list. We also have a text group that you can join from the website as well.
Facebook page?
Me and Shelby have been permanently banned from Facebook.
You've been
so,
permanently
yeah.
banned. And what did you do? What was so severe that they permanently banned you? This is worse than going on your permanent record back in grade school and high school.
We helped start a peaceful rally in front of the elections department. That's what we did.
That's
and we
what you
didn't even
did.
post anything about it on Facebook.
So
But
they
Facebook banned us.
took
Yeah.
something that you did away outside of the
Yes.
Facebook model, and they banned you on Facebook because you did something outside their group.
Yes. We're not the only ones.
I've
to-
never even been in Facebook jail, but yet
Yeah,
I don't
me
even
neither.
have an appeal right.
The Facebook jail looks a little bit like the containers with the bars on it that they put the kids in at the border. Have you seen that? That's
Oh,
like
the ones where they
that's like-
take them away from
that's
their
like
parents under the Obama
That's-
administration, but blame the Trump administration.
Well, they were kids in cages during
Kids
the
in
Trump
cages.
administration.
Well, don't forget that now they're still using the same cages, but they changed the terminology of it, and it's okay because under Biden, they're being put in cages with love.
Humanitarian.
Listen, if you have something that's bad and you paint a butterfly on it, it all of a sudden becomes good.
Of course.
Use some glitter, some sparkles, everything's good. All right, so We the People, azalliance.com.
Yes.
And then where else can they get you? You have an email?
We have an email, we have an office. People can stop into our office.
Oh, where's the office located?
It's 43rd Avenue in Glendale, 4225 West Glendale Avenue, and our address is on our website.
And what would they see at your office?
Aaron.
Yeah?
Yeah, Aaron, he's great.
And they'd meet you?
They would meet us in the evenings. We're usually there if we're not out doing this stuff or holding events. We're usually there always in the evenings.
And how do we find out about upcoming events that are happening? How they can get an autographed picture of Josh Barnett? How can we find out more about this?
Can sign his biceps.
Yeah.
Everything's on the website. We try to put everything that we can on the website. That's the only place we're not being censored.
Except for the $49.95 image of Josh with his signature.
Oh, all right.
Is
It
that
went
what it's
up.
up
It
to?
was $49.95 just last
Oh, wow.
week.
His biceps got bigger since last week. Have you seen that?
It's
No,
falling
but,
into
you know-
money. He's carrying all that cat.
No, it's a wonderful, wonderful group that they put together, and a lot of people are just out there. And so, have you seen a lot of things move forward since you started? I mean, you have a lot of signatures. You have people like Uncle Ronnie here having places where you can sign. I'm sure there's
Oh, yeah.
other places around the valley. Where else can they go? What other groups are you working with? Tell me what's happening on that side.
Great State Alliance has really come on board and helped us
Absolutely.
out.
Wonderful organization.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is several Christian women's groups and Republican groups that have really rallied around us, made this their kind of home project, so that's wonderful. And then we've got great district leads, and if you get a hold of us, we'll get you in contact with them, and they're setting up booths all over the place, in front of banks, parks, libraries, anywhere they can. They're setting up signing booths, pop-up tents, banners, the whole 9 yards, embracing people in, gathering their signatures. It's been phenomenal. And then last night, Mike Lindell mentioned us on CPAC. That was amazing. So we thank you. Shameless shout out to Mike Lindell.
Yeah,
Mike
great guy,
Lindell
great guy.
has put a link to our website front and center on the top of his website.
Wow.
And
That is
I do want to
amazing.
point out that we have somebody in our audience tonight who has been going door to door. Linda. Thank you, Linda. She's
Thank
been
you.
going door to door.
That's right.
And,
She's a Fuller Brush lady. No,
No, she's
Avon.
been
Avon
carrying
Cullen?
petitions around.
Shelby, you know what? I didn't know, but last Saturday night, we had a chance to spend a little bit of time together. I didn't know if you knew that I would be there, but somebody, you mentioned Mike Lindell, and Steve, you were there too. Nothing happened on the side, but you were there with another couple of guests at a special event. Can we talk about it now?
Yeah.
Now that it's over?
Yeah.
Okay, because it
Yes.
was highly secretive. Steve, who was there on Saturday night at that special
Well, one
event?
person that was there, we already previously knew because we worked with them in D.C. during the investigations. But Patrick Barron and
CEO of Overstock.
Overstock.com.
Right. And he had, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have seen, he had a whole video that he hired a crew of top experts to show exactly what happened, the anomalies,
Yep.
the things that were statistically impossible that were happening during that time where they had to shut down all the machines. If you haven't seen that, check that out. as well. So
He
he
is
was
an
there.
amazing and generous man.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he's tall.
Oh yeah, very tall.
Yeah, I asked him.
So
How's
was
the
the
weather
other
up there?
guest.
He's
very
got me
tall.
by at least 1 or 2 inches.
And then there was another guest too that I'm sure many of you will know. And who was that?
The Kraken Master, Sydney Powell.
Sydney Powell was
And
there.
she is one tall
And
lady.
she is very tall. It didn't
is.
help that she was wearing 3-inch heels, but still, even without them, she's very tall.
And
she
very-
taller than you as well?
With the heels on, we were eye to eye.
Wow.
And very
I
gracious.
saw a picture with
both of
Yes.
them.
with Mike or with Mr. Michaels here, and quite frankly, I thought you were.
I was standing in a hole.
Yeah, I thought you were in a hole. I mean, she's a head taller than you, and I didn't know we had dwarfs on this show.
Now,
but-
can you tell us a little bit about? Because I know you had a chance to talk with the producer director of a. There's going to be a new motion picture out, a documentary about this whole election period, and he was doing some filming here with Sydney Powell. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
There's not much we're allowed to talk about.
Okay,
And
all right.
We don't have a super big involvement in that anyway, but what we do know, we're not really supposed to talk about. So.
Okay, all right. You know, there are some things that still haven't been released, and Sydney Powell had a chance to share some of the things, some behind the scenes, but she couldn't talk about a lot of things. For everybody out there who's wondering, is this over? Is it over? What's the consensus? Shelby?
It's not over. It's not over. The spirit of the American people will prevail, and we will not give up. Arizona is going to stay on the front lines, and we are going to fight. And I'm telling you, the fraud is there, and we're going to get it.
And you've seen it firsthand.
I have seen it.
And you've worked with the people in D.C. I mean, it has been right in front of you. There's no doubt in your mind that there was mischievous things happening. We won't use the F word, because then they'll say that we can't broadcast here. There were inconsistencies. There were abnormalities. There was some mischief going on. Can you state that for the record?
There were gremlins inside the electronic voting equipment.
With water or without? Because
With.
they turn into gremlins with the water.
Well, let's.
They
There's a whole
multiply.
gambit of things that we have actual solid evidence about, and I'll try not to mention the F word.
Well,
but
Steve,
yes,
yeah, don't mention that, because for some reason they just don't like that.
the new F word.
That's
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the F word, the 4-letter F word.
yeah. No. It's,
At any rate, let's look at this from the standpoint. Perhaps there's a breakout here with this court decision. It allows something that few states have had this opportunity to do, and we have. I don't know if you know John Brakey. We had him at your event, and even though he's a Democrat, we're all Americans.
Yeah,
we're all
absolutely.
Americans, and we have got to look after our country. Legitimacy, yes. If you sincerely lose, you can go along with it, but you can't go along with something that has been, once again, mischievous is a good word. And when we did the numbers before, and I'll tell the audience again, and you guys might have heard this. I sent it around to everybody. We had in this country 212 million people registered to vote. Okay, 66% of them did vote. That leaves about 140 million people that actually voted. That's the 66% of the 212 million. Okay. We know that Donald Trump got approximately 75 million votes. And we know, too, that Joe Biden got 80 million votes. But if you take 75 and 80, it doesn't come up to 140 million. It's much more than 140 million. So the real question is, where did those votes come from? Because there weren't that many people out there that voted. I mean, and it's a sad day when something that's that simple math, and nobody buys into it in the media and in the. Once again, the Board of Supervisors are Republicans, but that's not the issue.
let's just say they have an R next to their name.
Yes.
Are they Republicans? We're not sure.
Or rascals. The R stands for rascal. And I've been received a lot of criticism because I'm going after Republicans. I mean, I'm sorry, when you see something that is improper and is incorrect, you should say something about it. You know, we don't allow
Absolutely.
we don't allow mischievous behavior in this country. And as you said, God, you know, someday we got to stand before the bar of God, and we have to explain ourselves. And you know, why didn't you do something about that, Uncle Ronnie? You know, so we all are in this together, and we better do the right thing.
We are, and you know, I kind of like to look at the Democrats as the annoying sibling. Like the other sibling's always the annoying one, right? But they're still my sibling. You know, comparing to we're all Americans.
Right.
That's my sibling. No one else can come in here
That's
and pick
right.
on my sibling except me, right? And we need to get back to that kind of mentality where we are a greater community. We are all Americans. Even though we disagree on politics, this is our country, and it's ours to fight amongst each other over. But we need to stop these issues with other countries and other influences, and you know, the types of things that we've been saying. I'm trying to be careful to not say certain things.
No, but Steve,
You know,
you're absolutely
censorship
right.
is getting difficult to deal with.
You're 100% right. You know, they want to divide us in every way.
Yeah.
Our motto is e pluribus unum, out of many one. It didn't say by the color of your skin, by your gender, by your ethnic origin, by your height, by your monetary income.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with that. You're absolutely right. You hit it right on the nail. And we as Americans need to come together, and we truly need to care about each other, whether we agree or not.
Absolutely.
That's not the point of whether we agree, and most likely we're going to disagree. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different upbringings. We all have different family and friends. So we need to come together, and everything that they do that divides us, we need to disregard and come together as one.
Yep.
Well, we got
Agreed.
to ask ourselves, who's benefiting from the division? Just like follow the money, who's benefiting from the division?
A lot of names come to mind, but I won't say them. Yeah.
Well, we know some of them because, and there's a fellow that I just saw some numbers today. I posted it on Facebook. Before he became a United States senator, he was worth $2 million. He's been a senator for many, many, many years. Now he's worth $29 million. How does that happen?
On a senator's salary.
Which is a good salary, but it was well. This is a leader, so he's making about $193,000 a year. But you gotta assume that he's spending some of that money, so it's not. It's his daily, and I'll just tell you who it is. It's the former majority leader of the Senate. $29 million he's worth today.
Who is this? Paul Ryan?
Mitch.
Oh, Mitch McConnell. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how back you would.
Yeah,
Well, with all the perks and privileges, I'm sure they don't actually have to come out of pocket very much for anything. But
Yeah.
but
Well,
that still doesn't account for
But you have some insider information
gaining
as well.
$27 million.
Yeah. So Shelby, Steve, now I mentioned Josh Barnett a couple times. He's a great guy. He is kind of the epitome of what an American should do, because when he had the mandate go down, he had to shut down his business, reopen. He got so frustrated. He found a way that he could have his business open and running. But he didn't stop there. He went around to his friends in the same industry and helped them get open and them to succeed as well.
Absolutely.
Now, you were both intimately involved in his campaign for Congress, and I know that he's going to be doing some great things as well in the future. Now, as we, the People AZ Alliance, are you also supporting candidates like this? Because I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
You were there, and I know that you would personally vet
Yeah.
some of the people that are running. So can you go, Shelby, can you go a little bit more into, after the recall happens, what's the future for AZ, or We the People AZ Alliance?
Sure. The future is to become a hub or a center for the people here in Arizona to come together, to band together, to create action, to get legislation passed, to help influence those things that come on the table, to preserve our constitutional freedoms, And of course, to vet, find, support, and get on the ballot and get elected great candidates like Josh. Josh is not a guy that should be sitting in an office at a gym. And I'm sorry, Josh, you will end up in D.C. and your biceps are going to shrink.
Gonna waste away, John.
But the vein in your forehead will get bigger from frustration.
Josh Barnett. I think I know you're still on Facebook, Josh, but do you still have your website?
Yeah.
Josh Barnett for Congress. Josh Barnett for, is it the number 4 or written out?
And I might add that one of the interesting
FORAZ.com.
One of the interesting things, you may not know this, but the night we had Chukri here, and we kind of browbeat him. And one of the guys Josh was sitting right here.
He personally handed Mr. Chukri the information. He was there. He saw it. And he actually said, no, I never saw that. I didn't see that.
You didn't see us, but we were here with Josh.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, you guys were in the
so,
yeah, you were swapped. He was over here. You were over there. The studio audience.
So what you may not know, because we were asked to keep it private, but there's no reason to now, is immediately following this round table where he held Chukri to the fire, and Chukri says, I want a forensic audit.
Yeah.
We got on the horn with Mayor Giuliani and arranged a face-to-face and pulled Chukri the next day down to the Senate building to look Mayor Giuliani in the eyes and say he would fight for an audit. Now, he hasn't done much fighting.
So what happened?
He got to vote in favor of the audit.
But did he speak directly to Rudy Giuliani and say, yes, I will support this?
Yes.
Yes, he did. And he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go, right, Josh?
No, he didn't.
He was like, oh, no, I got this. I'm going to do it. No, you really need to go down there and empower yourself. We wanted him to stand in the presence of Colonel Waldron and Mayor Giuliani, hear what they had to say, look him in the eyes, and admit he would do the right thing, which he did. But he hasn't done that. He has not fought.
He
and
did,
that's
but
what
he
we
didn't.
need to see. Right.
He's being lukewarm about it.
And you know the Church of Laodicea. What happens when you're lukewarm? If you don't know, look it up, Revelation. You know, my dad used to always tell me, and Uncle Ronnie, I've said this to you many, many times, but for everybody else out there, and I might use it as a tag from now on, but integrity is what happens when no one is looking. So
Do
keep
the right
integrity,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Let your yes be yes, your no mean no. If you're going to stand for something, do it. If you're not, don't do it, but don't be right there in the middle. We don't
do the right
we don't
thing.
need lukewarm.
Always do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's integrity.
And what's the right thing to do right now, Uncle Ronnie?
Well, it's about ready to say goodbye. We're not too far along from the.
We'll see you soon?
Well, we will.
don't wanna say goodbye.
We will see everybody soon. Now, I do want to point out what we're going to do Wednesday night on Fighting Back. This is going to be exciting.
Okay, let's hear it.
And there's a guy named Peter Martin. He was sponsored of one of the shows here. He was an expert and a representative for medical care and as well as
They're not. Don't look at her. She's not that old.
no, she's not. I'm looking at you. And that was the Social Security Medicare. And he's done some things at that. But I really met him because he is a quasi-expert. Now, I don't know what quasi means, but he's a quasi-expert. Quasimodo. Anyway, on global climate change.
Wow.
And you're going to be amazed at some of the myths that he's going to break up, because this is the last part of the puzzle to control the people of the United States and the world. They're doing it now through COVID, and this is the last part of it. If they can put all these things into place, they will control the human race here. And it's sad. We're going to have to take off. We have Steve Robinson and the lovely Shelby Busch and the lovely Ray Michaels.
Thank you so much. Thank you. No, it's great having you guys here. We're so excited to have you come out. Tell everybody about We the People, azalliance.com. Stop by, contribute, participate. get those things signed for the recall as well. You can do that right here. Uncle Ronnie, do you have the ones for the governor, the secretary of state? Do you have those here?
don't. I don't believe
All right,
so,
can you
Neil.
get those
Do we
over
have
here
those?
to us?
No, we can do
Stop
that.
by our place over here, 3238 East Bell. Don't forget to like, share, and tell everybody all about
And
this.
subscribe.
Subscribe to Hub Radio Phoenix.
As we want to build this network across the
I
state.
feel bigger right now. Wait, look, Josh Barnett is bigger.
And yeah,
just as he's working
okay.
out over
Listen,
here.
I'm gonna have to end this. We thank Mr. O'Connor. We thank Mr. DeSanti, and we thank Mr. Lutters for being the executive producer.
Thanks, Uncle Ronnie.
And thank you, Ray, for being here. See you Wednesday. Good night.